This video is to provide visual step-by-step assistance in creating 3 different versions of the classic fruit gift basket. First, we will start with our more modest design entitled Glitter, then move on to build our high-end version Extravagance, and finally we will demonstrate a completely different construct called the Home Sweet Home. Stay tuned until the end of this video when we will include tips for making your fruit basket the best it can be. To create the glitter fruit basket, which contains 9 pieces of fruit, you will need the following ingredients: 3 oranges, 2 red apples, 2 golden apples, 1 pear, and 1/2 pound of Globe grapes. Start by gathering these supplies together: a turntable, a basket, the small round willow rack, 1 13-inch by 20-inch cello shrink bag, a bow, a gift tag, the schematic, some shred, and a heat gun. The first step in building the glitter fruit basket will be to place your basket in the bottom of the cello shrink bag. Then place the willow rack over the basket, pulling the excess cello bag down over the outside of the rack. The whole assembly will take place within the rack. Next, firmly pack the basket halfway with shred. Remember, a firm base is important for the best end result. In the second step, you will be placing your first layer of fruit into the basket. Place the 5 pieces of fruit just inside the rim, making sure your shred is supporting the fruit high enough so you can see it over the edge of the basket. This is an important step to ensure the gift shows all the fruit and achieves a high perceived value. Fill in the center with a small amount of shred, supporting the fruit and keeping it in place. This will also allow for some soft padding between the stacked layers of fruit. In step 3, place an orange, a pear, and a red apple in a triangular pattern. Then place a small amount of shred in the center of the triangle. In step 4, arrange grapes over the top. To finish off your gift basket, gather up the cello shrink bag and fasten it with a twist tie. Use the heat gun on a low setting and shrink the wrap. Avoid getting the heat gun too close or staying too long on any one spot to prevent burning holes in the shrink bag. Gently remove the small willow rack over the top and place it to the side. Pick a pleasing spot and attach your bow and gift card. Voila! Now admire your perfectly assembled glitter gift basket and enjoy watching them leave your stores in the arms of a satisfied customer. When creating the Extravagance fruit basket, which contains 25 pieces of fruit, you will need the following ingredients: 7 oranges, 4 red apples, 5 golden apples, 3 pears, 2 grapefruit, 3 bananas, and 1 pound of Globe grapes. Start by gathering these supplies together: a turntable, the small oval willow rack, 1 22-inch by 32-inch cello shrink bag, a basket, some shred, a bow, a gift card, the schematic, and a heat gun. The first step in building the extravagance fruit basket will be to place your basket in the bottom of the cello shrink bag. Then place the willow rack over the basket, pulling the excess cello bag down over the outside of the rack. The whole assembly will take place within the rack. Next, firmly pack the basket halfway with shred. In step 2 of the assembly, you will arrange the ingredients according to the diagram. The 2 grapefruit will be placed in the very center, side by side, and even with the rim of the basket. Now fill around, over, and in between the grapefruit with shred. You will be completely covering the grapefruit. In step 3, arrange your fruit according to the schematic, circling the rim of the basket on the outside of the buried grapefruit as shown in your kit diagram. Gently lift the willow rack to fit the fruit into each layer. Then, fill in the center and in between each fruit with shred. This helps to keep the fruit to the outer perimeter of the basket and rack for a more pleasing finished product. In step 4, you will place the fruit overlapping the items underneath according to the schematic. The fruit will also be slightly towards the center to lend your display more stability. End this layer by packing the center and in between each fruit generously with your shred. Easy, right? In step 5, you will place 3 pears on one side, and on the other side of the basket you will put 3 bananas together side by side. Complete your top fruit layer with the globe grapes and another orange. Remember, this is the highest retail value, so there is a lot of fruit included. To finish off your gift basket, gather up the cello shrink bag and fasten with a twist tie. Use the heat gun on a low setting and shrink the wrap. Avoid getting the heat gun too close or staying too long on any one spot to prevent burning holes in the shrink bag. Gently remove the small willow rack over the top and place it to the side. Pick a pleasing spot and attach your bow and gift card. And again, take a moment now to admire your creation. When creating our Home Sweet Home fruit basket, you will be using 14 pieces of fruit. You will need the following ingredients: 4 oranges, 3 red apples, 3 golden apples, 1 pear, 2 bananas, and 1 pound of Globe grapes. The supplies you will need are 1 turntable, a wire container, 1 mesh bag, ribbon, a gift card, the schematic. In step 1 of creating the Home Sweet Home fruit basket, you will place a red apple, a golden apple, and an orange into the bottom of the mesh bag. Fit the bag and fruit inside the house-shaped wire basket. In step 2, arrange the second layer of fruit according to the schematic. In step 3, place the remaining apples and oranges in the basket. In step 4, stack 2 bananas, a pear, and the Globe grapes in the middle. To finish the Home Sweet Home fruit basket, gather the mesh at the top and fasten with a twist tie or knot. Using the first ribbon, find the center and place it under the house basket. Bring up the ribbons along both sides of the house, gathering with the mesh at the top. Secure with a twist tie. With the second ribbon, tie a bow at the top and attach a gift card. There you have 3 different designs that will meet your customers' needs. Now we have some tips for building the best fruit basket using the Willow Rack.
Use a firm base of shred. Filling the basket firmly with shred is the key. Just like building a house, the foundation is crucial for the best end result. Fruit is heavy, so you need a firm base of shred. Use the height of each piece of fruit to your advantage. Fruit is generally tallest from the bottom to the stem. Use that height for the tallest end product. Always put the stem end up. Remove or turn labels inward on each piece of fruit. This makes the basket more appealing. Be sure to lift the rack when adding new layers of fruit. When putting fruit into a layer and you're having a hard time fitting the required last piece in, lift the rack just a little bit at a time until that last piece of fruit fits into that layer. Don't force it, or your customer will end up with a bruised or damaged piece of fruit. Remember, every piece of fruit is a gift to the receiver. Check the finished structure. No leaning towers. When you've finished building your basket and before you begin shrinking it, take a look through or beyond the rack at the fruit basket itself. Is it straight up and down? If it's leaning, now is the time to straighten it up before you shrink that wrap. Put one hand on the basket itself, opposite from the side which is leaning over, and put your other hand about halfway up on the rack on the leaning side. Now gently push on the rack until the fruit is standing up straight. Now go ahead and gather up the top and shrink it. Shrink it first, then remove the rack, not the other way around. It's a mistake to remove the rack before you shrink it, but the good news is you'll only do it once. If you do remove the rack before you shrink, all the fruit falls down around the outside of the basket into the bottom of the shrink bag, and you'll have to start from scratch. Refresh your display. After a day or so of leaving these baskets on display, they may look tired and may have fogged up. Take a heat gun and on a low setting, gently and slowly move the gun around the grapes until that condensation is gone. Then go over the entire basket to tighten up that shrink. The basket will look fresh and new again. Cut the stems of your bananas. It makes for a more finished look and prevents damage to your bags.
There you have it, fruit basket building made easy, quick, and definitely more efficient. For further assistance, please contact CBK at 630-637-0340, visit our website at www.cbkglobal.com, or check out our Facebook page.